Interjection here, Nation Warriors 1v1 commentary number 5. Now this is a game between myself, obviously, and against Toxicity04. It's a Spanish mirror. I really enjoyed this game. It was pretty good. Hopefully it'll be good to commentate. Now I do apologise for playing Spanish again. I do that quite a lot. Now that is because, well, obviously I like Spanish, and at the moment I have no intention of learning any other new civ until after my exams are over. Obviously I'm back in college now, studying, revising, whatever you want to call it, for them final summer exams. Once they're out of the way, we will be back. Well, I'll be back to making these 1v1 commentaries and every other tips and tricks here, whatever else. Be making them again as soon as my exams are over. Just I want to get them out of the way before I learn anything new. Also, before I jump into the game, I'd like to mention I'm going to make a new series. I've got a new product key, so I'm going to get a new account, and I'm going to make a series where I basically learn all of the civs. I have to use all the civs equally on this new account and level all the home cities up equally, so that I play all the civs. I might exclude Spain from that, obviously, because I'm pretty good with Spain already. Well, Spain's my best civ, really, so mainly focusing on them other civs. So we'll see how that goes as a commentary right now. So jump straight into this game. Obviously, scout on the map around. Obviously, you want to do that because you want to find the herds that you want to bring in and the treasures, you know, and you can't really fight your opponent without scouting the map. It's all pretty obvious. So right here, herding my starting herd obviously back. I want to bring that closer so that my settlers don't have to walk quite as far to get it, and it's always around my town, which is nice. And I'm bringing in a second herd already 1 minute into the game. So here I'm found a 45 XP treasure, and I see that and I think I'll go for that straight away. And I'm not going to use my crack shot. I don't use my crack shot on small treasures like this because I always, or do I? I don't know if I use it. Okay, I do use it. As I was saying, sometimes I don't use it on the smaller treasures because I want to save it just in case I come across something big like some wood or something like that. But I think it was quite... I decided to use it there to speed up efficiency. Obviously, the sooner you use it, the sooner it recharges and you can use it again. It's a pretty useful thing if you're an explorer. Obviously, going to keep bringing that herd in, and I noticed I left the 100 coin. Now, coin is entirely useless to you in Age 1 unless you're Dutch, unless you want, or unless you're getting the hunting dogs upgrade, which I'm obviously not getting here because well, I haven't built a market and I don't have enough wood to build a market, let alone hunting dogs. But the coin, my settler collecting the coin is only not collecting food, so it's a waste of time collecting it, and coin doesn't help me age up. So I will obviously get the coin, but not right now. I don't need it right now to age up, and obviously aging up is the priority because I want to get those fast fortress units out as fast as I can, so I can, you know, sooner the better, really. Right here, obviously now bringing in a pronghorn herd. Now in this game I've brought in like really loads and loads of herds. Just found plenty on the map. See, one here, and then there's one there I bring in. I don't know if I need that many, but you know, since they're all fairly close, why not? The one problem with that is I do have, obviously these settlers are walking around quite a lot, meaning they're not collecting food. They do walk a little bit too far sometimes. I don't need to move them that much in order to herd, but you know, whatever. Right here I've made all 15 settlers that I make in Age 1, and I have about 550 food. Normally I could have, say, 600 or 650 food by this exact time, and I've only just hit 650 food. So if you think of it, like with the settlers moving so much, I have wasted, well, yeah, that much time not getting food. So I could be aging by now already, but obviously I'm not. So here we are, about to hit it. Like I've clicked the age up button, and I'm spam clicking the buttons before I get 8, so I've got like 795 food or something, and then as soon as you get 800, it puts the age up in queue so that you can maximize the efficiency and get there as fast as you possibly can. So right here I'm switching almost all of my settlers onto wood. Now I switch all of them on except for the ones herding, because obviously I need them to be herding, and it's just a waste of time walking them around. So the idea here is I want to get 250 wood exactly, and then with that 250 wood I do build a trading post, which is pretty good for Spain. Now the best thing you can do, in my opinion, is as soon as you hit the age up button, switch over to wood, and as soon as you get that 250 wood, your explorer will arrive back in time to build the trading post inside your base. Now I do build the one inside my base rather than the central trading post because the one in my base is more easily defended. I used to build the central one because I thought by getting that I can stop my opponent from having it, because obviously then they have to destroy it in order to get the central one, and they can't build the one in my base because obviously the town center stops them from doing that. You can't build buildings too close to your opponent's town center, and the only one available to them would be their own trading post. But obviously I lost. You tend to lose the trading post if you build it on the central one if you're not playing, because obviously Spain is quite I'm not being very aggressive until I hit Fortress Age. In fact, I'm not being aggressive at all. Anyway, right here, well, I have been bringing in lots of herds, as you can see. Absolutely ridiculous here. Right, 700 coins straight away, straight on the ball. And now I'm checking Blue's deck. So he's also, as he's playing Spain, and by the looks of that, his deck's a little bit different from mine, but he is also fast fortressing, I can see from that. So I decided to pull out a 10 musketeers in the colonial age. Anyway, we're not there yet, so I won't talk about it. I was going to set up that tower defensively. Thinking about it now, I would have placed it nearer or on top of the bison, or perhaps I'm going to herd the bison onto it, so that's not too bad. Oh yeah, see, there's a herd there, so it kind of made sense as to why I did that. So right here, there's an XP treasure, 320 XP or something like that. With a war dog and an explorer, I can certainly take that down and get the extra XP, which is always good. Right here now, the coin has just arrived, so I switched 3 people into the town center, so I can get that 500 coin crate there, and then the other 2 is being collected up by a few people on the other side there. I want to get that all collected up as fast as possible, and then so, because really it's the coin that would, not collecting the coin is the thing that's going to delay me getting to the Fortress Age. So ideally, I train 3 settlers in the colonial age. The one training right now is the 3rd one, obviously, and then as soon as I get all of that, well, see, I've got 1,000 coin now, so all I need is that food. Right now I normally have 1,100 food, and I have to wait a tiny bit longer. Obviously only 950, so I did lose like what, 150 food somewhere. What's 50 is 1,000, yeah, maybe just 100 food somewhere. Right here, I don't know why I stayed there. I should have really just completely run away, entirely run away, and then come back for the treasure should he start killing the guardians. He did train some war dogs there, which confused me. I thought, okay, that's good. He's wasting his food, but he does use them later on for his fight, you know, because he decides to use war dogs in the first fight. And I'll be quite honest, war dogs, age 3 war dogs are actually quite good because they get a hit point boost. On the Asian dynasties, they get an attack boost as well. Or it might be the other way around here. They might get an attack boost here, but not a hit points boost. Either way, they get stronger as you age up. So those war dogs are going to be quite useful to him. In the end, they don't really being that useful because I do just kill them with musketeers because they don't quite get close enough. Anyway, we're not quite there yet. 700 wood has arrived. Now, obviously, that's for my military building and then 5 houses, and that's all the population I should need at the very beginning of the game for my initial, you know, troops. I choose a barracks. Sometimes I choose a stable. Depends what your opponent is going to do. I haven't scouted him, so Secret Shogun's going to be angry with me, but whatever. And yeah, I'm going to go skirmisher. No, I'm not. Well, I do eventually, but to start with, I'm going to train 10 musketeers, but I think I built the barracks too late. I should have got the barracks built pretty quick. Should have been on the ball with that, but right now I'm not. I only trained 5 in the end, but either way, the game was still pretty good. So I'm switching the villagers through the tower there. You can't use the eject hotkey for that though, so you have to press it manually, which is kind of annoying. But then I eject them through the town center into the tower, and then eject them through the tower onto the food. So hopefully minimalizing the time that they would need to walk. Obviously they do bump into each other still, but they'd do that normally even if you made them walk. So really I have saved maybe, you know, a few seconds, maybe just, you know, all that effort just to save a second really is just, if you think about it. Anyway, right, yeah, I queue up the next batch of 5. So I've got my first batch of 5 about to be popped, and then another batch of 5 there, which I end up cancelling because I know there's really no point. I might as well just train skirmishers at this point. And my first shipment is 2 cannons. Now, the idea behind that is I would have 10 musketeers. I obviously only have 5 here, but I should have had 10. And then obviously the musketeers are anti-cavalry, and they do a pretty good job at defending cannons. So right here, he's gone up with 8 pikemen and 5 musketeers and 5 war dogs. So he's aiming to be pretty quick. Which normally would catch me off guard. Now, I'm lucky here that my house placement is like it is, because normally I wouldn't build my houses there. I'd build them behind my town for defensive purposes, obviously, because then he has to go behind my town to get them, and then hopefully if he does go behind my town to get them, then obviously he's killing my houses, should I not be able to retaliate, that is, and then I'm able to pop my Minutemen, and then he has to kind of, is more likely that I can trap him with my Minutemen. So right here my cannons have arrived, and I think he comes back at this point. Now I am concerned a little bit with the lack of anti-cavalry I have here, because obviously cannons are very, very easy to kill if you do not, if anything goes into hand combat with a cannon, you know. So right here, he's got cannons as well, so I'm shitting bricks because I'm no good at countering cannons. Cannon micro is really clumpy and awkward. It's always cannon on cannon. And I've only got one able to get to start shooting. Fortunately, both his first cannon doesn't bother attacking me, or he didn't tell it to. And then it's actually quite good because the second cannon finishes off both of his. Well, my only cannon kills off his 2 cannons, which is unheard of usually. And then obviously I've got my other cannon, which didn't actually manage to get into the little gap. There wasn't enough space for it to get through. So right here, 5 lances, and I'm calling Minutemen. I probably should have called the Minutemen earlier. They would have been very, very, very helpful at protecting the cannon, because obviously they're kind of... Well, I don't think they're like Musketeer statistics. They do 26 range damage, you know, extra units defending my cannon. Really, I just want to get... If he had... obviously, he doesn't have any cavalry. His Rodolero, which, you know, he did counter one of my cannons. He killed a cannon off with his rods. Maybe it was a good sacrifice, I don't know. But right now he doesn't have any anti-cavalry, so the lancers, when they arrive, are going to do a good job of taking out his skirmishers. Always a good thing. So right now, obviously, lots of villages on wood, because I didn't notice my house cap. I'm about to get housed, but it's okay, because I built another house, and I now have 10 idle settlers, which is what you need to be doing. No, it's not. But anyway, they were wood settlers. I assume they've run out of wood to collect. I still haven't noticed. This is... Oh, there we go. Yeah, they ran out of wood. So moving them over, kind of jumping through the town centre apparently. Anyway, back to this fight. No, oh, my villagers. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so the cannon is hopefully going to be protected, but these Rodolero get in the way. Now, really, I should have made the lancers attack the rods, because I knew the rods were going to be focused on the cannon. And then, obviously, even though cavalry, Rodolero are good against my lancers, my cavalry, my lancers, even if the lancers are not getting attacked back, then the lancers are definitely... worth attacking, because it seems weird. On the vanilla you get so many the lancers. 5 lancers is quite overpowered. Well, I don't know. On the Asian dynasties, obviously it was nerfed. You only get 4 and 3, but obviously on Nilla you get 4 and... Sorry, you get on the Nilla you get 5 and 4 lancers shipment. Lancers seem to be able to counter pikemen, though that first initial batch of 5 does anyway. I wouldn't recommend sending pikemen against, lancers against pikemen. Obviously, you still want to stick to the skirmisher counters anti-cavalry convention, but if it comes down to it in the very early of the game, I do find that if he's got, you know, like that 8 pikemen at the very beginning, 5 lancers, no problem. No problem at all. Lancers can take out. In terms of cost efficiency, perhaps not the best thing, but certainly capable of doing it. So right here, I'm running away as fast as I can, because he now has lancers. The tide has turned. His lance is obviously going to kill off my skirmishers, so I want to get them back, and I really should have perhaps thought about that. Well, yeah, I sent another lancer shipment, didn't I? That's why I've got so many there. I really should have sent the skirmishers, sorry, not the skirmisher shipment, Spanish skirmishers, yeah. No, there isn't a skirmisher shipment. I should have sent the pikeman shipment, was what I meant, which I have done now. It was after the second lancers. Obviously I sent the 5 lancers, then the 4 lancers. Probably shouldn't have sent the 4, should have sent the pikeman, because then this happening with the with the lancers shouldn't happen. Now, right in this fight, I chose to put my lancers against his lancers. Not entirely convinced it was the best decision of mine again, but in the heat of the game, I don't know, you make some crazy decisions, especially when you're me. Should have probably just retreated as far as I could, and then maybe put a few settlers in the town centre to make the lancers run away, and then maybe resume the fighting once the pikemen had arrived, because then right now I'd still have my lancers, and I'd be in a good position to counter his skirmishers, especially as he hasn't got any anti-cav of his own either. So, yeah, I probably should have just brought all my units back to my town and not fought at all. And obviously, as I just said, wait for the pikeman. Way to go, repeat everything you just said. So right here, my screen had a little spaz out because I'm now changing my song on iTunes. I do listen to music whilst I play, which is why in my first few commentaries I had audio in the game, but in my later commentaries I now don't have audio. What I mean by that is obviously when I clicked on a unit, it would make a noise. But obviously I don't record the sound, because then I'd have my music in there as well. You might like it, you might not. Anyway, back to the game. There's a random war dog over there. I wish I'd noticed that earlier. Would have been helpful in the first fight. And here, my pikeman, I accidentally run my pikeman into his skirmishers. And obviously, anything that goes into hand combat with a skirmisher isn't that bad. But really, I shouldn't be wasting pikemen, because as you can see here, he's got a shit ton of lancers. Sorry, apologies for my... yeah. Anyway, back to the game. Again, not convinced. Yeah, because lancers are good against, well, obviously they got their time 20 times 3, and that still applies to pikemen. And if the pikemen aren't actually fighting back, then you're a winner, because lancers are actually really good against infantry. So right here, maybe if I hadn't spazzed out and attacked the skirmishers, perhaps maybe just be careful when looking at the where I was sending my unit, rather than a random war dog that was on the other side of the map. Anyway, you see what paying attention actually does in a game. So Right here, I now have 1,000 food and 100 coin. This is another problem that should not be happening. If you think of it like this, I can't spend 1,000 food because I don't have enough coin to actually turn it into proper units. And 1,000 food is essentially 10 musketeers worth of resources doing absolutely nothing. So had I been more balanced there, you know, had 700, sorry, if I'd balanced the coin and food collection out, then I could easily be units, and obviously units are going to be helpful, maybe. Okay, so I built a stable just now, obviously right in the market, getting the upgrades. It's 15 minutes in, should have really been thinking about them. If you can't, personally, if I can't push to win, if I can't win the fight by pushing, well, fortunately, it's a Spanish game, so our economies are, you know, hopefully will be fairly equal. When I play Dutch, if I don't win after the initial push, I know I'm going to lose, usually, because obviously the Dutch economy is insane. It just is, with those banks. Spanish economy really is shockingly awful, so as soon as you hit age 3, you really do need to start booming. So here we are, 5 lances popped out. So you need to start booming? I meant start pushing. With the Spanish, booming isn't... Their booming capabilities are a bit terrible, to be honest. Anyway, back to the game. Obviously, those 5 lances popped out and attacked the skirms, and then his pikeman, his rodolero, sorry, turned up, and I got my lances out of there. Now, hopefully... Now, my mass is a little bit bigger than his. Some settlers. Those settlers had to retreat, obviously, because his units turned up on my hunting, and that was kind of annoying. But, so he is delaying my food production, but not too much of a problem, because I'm able to push him off and return. Although, I did have several settlers idle for quite a long time, and they are still idle, because obviously they're walking back to the food. And I think there's like 18 settlers there. Now, if you think of I'm losing 0.83 food per second per settler, I don't know, I'll do that calculation. Let's say I had 20, I had a little bit less than that. 20 times 0.83 is equal to 16.6 food per second. Let's say they were idle for 25 seconds, probably a little bit less. That's 400 food I missed out on. Really does matter. Make sure your settlers are working. Anyway, back to the game. Obviously another batch of lancers coming out. Really, I should be thinking about maybe some anti-cavalry, because now I don't have any, and he could just quite easily do what I'm doing, which is building lancers, and obviously a bunch of lancers are going to take me out fairly... A bunch of lancers would attack these skirmishers, and them skirmishers are quite far away from home, so again, my unit decision choices aren't always the most logical, but anyway, these... Yeah... So skirm on skirm fighting, perhaps because I do have 5 lancers in production right now, maybe it would have been a better idea not to attack, you know, walk off, maybe find his settlers, or maybe not get involved in the fighting at all, because, although I'm mistaken, I had some rodolero, perhaps that was, well, perhaps it's not completely reckless to have these skirmishers so far away from home, because I do have a few rodolero. Anyway, as I was saying, that skirmisher on skirmisher fight, probably shouldn't have done that either, because I could have just waited for these lancers to arrive, and then, you know, that would have made things, I could go in all in with everything then, and that would have made a lot more sense to me. So, right now, I built the stable, obviously, for the lancers, but also it gives me access to dragoons, which, you can use dragoons to counter, well, not counter, but you can hit and run them against rodolero and pikemen to, well, rodolero to an extent, but you can hit and run them against pikemen, which is, hopefully if he continued to train pikemen, then, you know, that's not too bad. Right now, I think he didn't build a stable, really, because he just continued to go skirmisher, and I think he was training rodolero, so that's his unit combinations came from, probably that. Obviously, I built the stable because I figured I wanted to switch units. Although, personally, I don't like building another military building until I can sustain production from the original one and the new one at the same time. Otherwise, you know, the original military building... So right now I'm not using my barracks, and that's 200 wood doing nothing, really. You know, it's nice to maximize efficiency, which is just what... Well, it's always nice. So right here, killing the villagers because I can, and he's got 1,000 wood, so I'm expecting him to be building a town centre and making his economic upgrades. And to be honest, that kind of reminded me, because if you can't... Personally, if you can't win by pushing, the initial push doesn't win, then you do have to kind of think economically, because if you just keep pumping everything into units, then obviously you're not gonna... He can easily, like, kind of defend in his own town, you know, with maybe the Minutemen, his initial tower he aged up with, and the few units you do have, and also the, you know, the town centre fire, and you can always get a random Rambo shipment just pops out, and so yeah, economically I should be thinking more like that right now, but still I'm quite heavily producing military. Obviously, I did get the market upgrades. I don't know if he's got market upgrades at this moment, and I can't really check because I'm not in the game, and obviously I'm recording this afterwards. Suppose I could wait and have a look. Anyway, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, so he almost missed that batch of 5 Lancers. Yeah, I think Lancers are a good decision here. I've got plenty of anti-cavalry, so if there were pikemen to turn up, then I could... Wait. No, I need skirmishers if I'm training. I don't know. Where am I going with this? So right here now getting some of the Age 2 economic upgrades. I've got the initial Age 1, which isn't, you know, they're pretty good. They're piss cheap, and you can get really good, obviously 10% to hunting and 10% to mining for the cost that they actually, how much they actually cost is really good value. Always would do that. So right here, I think, alright, okay, there's not too many rods. I'll send my Lancers at them, which is a good idea if there's not too many, but there is quite a few, so not entirely sure why I did that. This is why it's a good game, because right here he's chosen a new unit composition that kind of does annoy me, because his units, Rodolero, pretty good at countering Lancers, I suppose, because obviously Lancers, although they do quite huge damage against infantry, obviously Rodolero's resisting 0.4%, so 0.4%, wow, no, 40% of all melee hits. So right in that fight, I did kind of just, I don't know, I could have saved some of the units. I could have ran them off in different directions and just not have lost them like that. That was a really newbie thing to do, especially kind of pushing in. And as soon as when that 8 Rodolero shipment popped out of his tower, I don't know if you remember, that I should have probably just got out of there and thought, right, I need skirmishers, because obviously skirms pretty good against skirms are pretty good against any kind of infantry, especially Rodolero, because Rodolero don't resist any ranged attack. Obviously they're only, and they have fairly low hit points, they're only resisting that hand attack. Obviously there's a bunch of settlers right there. I have already looked at them. I'm obviously going to kill them as much as I can. I don't expect to kill too many, because his Rodolero will turn up in a moment, and I should be wary of that. Should be looking right now. Yeah, see, his units are turned up. I don't know if I... Yeah, that's the kind of thing you need to avoid. So right here, he's trying to raid me with a few Rodolero. So I do send my settlers into hand mode, but then kind of thinking about it, each settler's only doing, well, hardly any damage, because normally that would work, maybe against a few hussars, but again, obviously they're resisting 40% of all damage done to them, so not the best thing. Obviously my Lancers just popped out, so I did send them up against the Rodolero. There was only a few, so that was an okay thing to do, especially since my villages were under attack. So right now, sending 12 pikemen. Now the reason is mostly because I'm running out of shipments and I don't have a lot of choice. If I could, I'd probably want to send skirmishers, but obviously you don't get them anyway, so skirmishers would be quite nice at the moment, but I'm going to have to make do with the shipments which are actually available to me. That tower there on the coin mine is for, obviously, protection. I can put my people inside that should I need to defend. So he's got the veteran Rodolero upgrade now, and there's a tiny little wall segment going up. That's for line of sight, clearly. I did build a tower to far left. You might have noticed it. Obviously, there's a fight here. We can't see it, but the tower there is hopefully to stop him from collecting from that huntable. Not sure if it's the best use of wood, but I do have a lot of wood, so why not? You know, really shouldn't have that much wood anyway. That should be food and coin, and I have quite a lot of food and coin right now. And again, that shouldn't be there either. I should be spending that the moment I get it in my stockpile. So yes, there's a bunch of settlers just turn up. Anyway, this fight, I did have enough skirmish, and obviously I'm running away now from the Rodolero. No point fighting them when I don't need to. And then these rods start going into hand combat with my skirmishers, so I get the idea here is I get the pikemen in front of the skirmishers so that the Rodolero can no longer attack them. As I said earlier, anything that goes into hand combat with a skirmisher is actually pretty okay, except for very few. Anyway, so yeah, not too bad. I think it might be because of my economy. See, I know he hasn't got really a lot of resources. Clearly, the coin mines, he's collecting that far out near my coin mine in the south of the map, because clearly he's used up his coin mines and he's going that far to the lower extremity of the map in order to get this coin mine. But obviously I'm already there, and I built a tower, so he probably knows that I'm there and doesn't really want to risk it. He's obviously retreating. So right here, some Rodolero turn up, and I do just fight them because I thought they were just walking past and he wouldn't notice, but he does notice, and I do lose a few of the skirms, so the rods. But since I've got skirms there as well, At least, sorry, a few of the lancers. But yes, since I've got skirms there as well, it's pretty okay. I can fairly, kill off that. I think it was a shipment. Probably a shipment, I don't know. But either way, they're gone. So right now, I'm now sending the 10 pikeman shipment. I suppose I could say and lie that I need them for the siege damage, which is always helpful. But again, that's because I don't really have very much choice on unit shipment. They were the 8 pikeman shipment, colonial age one. Now sending colonial age shipment because I ran out of age 3 shipments to send. So yeah, he called good game, and here we are. I'm just looking at the map really. And yeah, this little screen spaz out because I'm changing my song on my iTunes. Anyway, I'll speed up the rest of the video until we hit the graphs. So here's the post-game graphs. I'm going to jump straight onto village account. There we are. My village account was fairly consistent the entire game. And then towards the end, obviously, I have more than him or maintain more than him. Here we are, all resources gathered. Fairly even. He was ahead of me in the earlier part, and then I won as I had more map control. Or, I don't know, I had resources and forced him off his of the resources he wanted to collect. Wood total there. Obviously, he collected his wood crate before I got mine. Don't need a lot of wood in games. Mostly my units kept dying, so I didn't need to build new houses because there was free population slots, idle settlers. Had a few idle parts on my part, but mostly he was worse for the most part, which is always nice to see. Obviously, I could have been better at parts as well. So yeah, good game. I enjoyed that one, and I hope that was okay to watch. Sorry I keep playing Spain. As I say, we'll change that soon. Not sure if I mentioned earlier, but yeah, there's a new series I will be making, and that is, yeah, I got a new account, brand new product key. Gonna make this new account, and I will make all the cities again, obviously at level 10, and I'll level them up all equally. Maybe I'll get level 20, because level 10's a bit low, or maybe even level 40, because level 20 is fairly low as well. But obviously I'm gonna get all my cities to the same level. Once I get one level 40 city, obviously I can make a bunch of new cities at the same level, so at level 40. And then once I can just level them all up equally from there. And I have to say, keep all of those cities in a range of 5 levels. So I can't, once I get all level 40 cities, I can't get a home city past level 45 without bringing the others up. I have to be at least 5 within the highest and lowest cities. So I play all the civilizations equally. And I'll make commentaries perhaps out of every... Well, I'll certainly record every single game, and I might upload every single game, but I might not do commentaries. Obviously, I'll be doing ×2, maybe ×3 speed, so if there isn't commentary, then, you can get through them pretty quick without being bored. But I'll obviously commentate the good games, and I suppose we'll see how that goes. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and do subscribe if you would like to see more from this channel. If you're interested in joining Nation of Warriors, then visit our website at www.nationofwarriors.co.uk. Links are in the description.